All right, Thursday night. Welcome to the Krug Show. John Lund in the house. We're going to dual stream and talk. We're both in Niner camp today in Santa Clara, and we got a lot to talk about. How about Christian Wilkins in a Niner uniform? How would that look? We'll talk about it all straight ahead. It's the Krug Show. John Lund, both of us coming together on a Thursday night. Let's do it right here, right now. Off and running on the Thursday night edition of the Krug Show. All day in the sun, all night on the stream, all day in the sun.
Look at my red face, man.
All night on the stream.
2 days of stupidly not wearing a hat. What am I thinking?
Sunburn. Welcome to the Krug Show. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. We're also brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, along the Monterey Peninsula. My friend Anthony Catania is at 831-521-5264. We also are brought to you by Claw Daddy Arcades. They're a great follow on Instagram at claw_daddy_arcades for a location near you. And we've got a couple new sponsors that we'll be welcoming into the Krug Show family in the next week. So thanks to all of them. Thanks to all of our existing sponsors. If you're watching us live on YouTube, do us all a favor, hit the like button. That just helps more people find John and I in this live stream tonight. And then hit subscribe and hit that notification bell. Make sure it's turned on. And so you never have to miss a minute of either me or John on our channels. And remember, once the live stream wraps, you can catch the full replay anywhere you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever your favorite platform is. Just search The Krug Show on my side, and you'll find us. But we got a lot to get to today, so we'll jump right to it. Johnny, good to see you. It was great to see you today at practice and yesterday at practice. And, the Niners have had 2 training camp practices, and they were distinctly different. Today was a little bit longer than yesterday. And today was really exciting. We'll get into it. But the big story of the night, well, first of all, before we get any further, yesterday or this morning, I'm not sure which one, we eclipsed on the Krug Show 60,000 subs.
Well done.
So, just an amazing moment for the Krug Show. 60,000 subs. We started this channel in March of 2022. When I got let go by the radio, downsized in the whole, the whole downsizing of radio, which, obviously John has been affected by it. Tommy's been affected by it. Almost every one of my good friends has been affected by it. And these are really talented people that are just not in radio anymore because radio's shrinking, because radio's there's an assault on radio's advertising and dollars, and it's just radio's kind of redoing itself in a streamlined way, and unfortunately, it's not a straight line, and all kinds of people get knocked off. I was one of them in 2022, and I had a good friend then who was like, "Hey, start a YouTube channel," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good idea," and he's like, "No, dude, start a YouTube channel like tomorrow." And I'm like, "Really, tomorrow?" He's like, "Yeah, we're doing it tomorrow." And I just took that leap of faith, and I went into this realm, and here I am 3.5 years later, on the other side, feeling really, really good about my decision to come over to YouTube. So I just want to thank all my friends, all my sponsors, all my family, my son Kev especially, who's the #1 producer of our show, and just everybody who's helped me along the way. A lot of good friends. John, you're one of them. We've done stuff when we've both been on the radio, when you were on the radio, and I wasn't on the radio, when I'm on the radio and you're not. Everybody's career has twisted and turned. We've worked together locally. John and I have worked together nationally on ESPN Radio. Very proud of the work we did over there. I just want to say I'm really a lot of gratitude and a lot of I'm not doing this all that smooth. But I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for helping me and Kev and my family transition from being a radio host to being a YouTube host, and now it's come full circle, and I'm back on the radio, and I'm enjoying being on the radio in this new endeavor where YouTube is my main thing. So 60,024 subs as we're sitting here right now, and I just wanted to say thank you, each and every one of you guys, from the very first person to the last person who just subbed. I try to do good content. I want to do good content. We're always trying to perfect things and come up with creative new ideas and fun people to stream with. I don't want crap on my channel. I don't want to buy subs. I want every single sub every single sub I want to be an actual sub. I don't want to purchase any subs. I don't need to purchase any subs. I don't want to, and I don't care if you do or anybody else does. I don't care. Do what you got to do in your own world, but I don't want to do that. But I'm really happy that we're, got to 60,000 subs. I'm really happy with the YouTube channel. I'm thrilled to be working with my son, thrilled to be working with my friends. And thank you to all of you guys, and just onward and upward. Thank you. I take it as total compliment that you've subbed to my channel. And all I can promise you is that, you know what, you're going to get my honest opinion. You're not always going to agree with it, because I'm not running for office and I'm not trying to, build a consensus. I'm just going to give you my honest opinion. And you're going to agree with some of them. You're going to totally disagree with some of them. You're going to say, you're this and that, but whatever. I enjoy it. And thank you to all you guys for supporting the channel. So on that note, we get it rolling tonight. But thanks again to everybody, and hopefully we get to 100,000 subs at some point someday. But thank you to everybody who's helped this channel grow to this point in 3.5 years. I cannot be happier or prouder of what we've accomplished here. Let's get into the story of the night, which is the Raiders out of nowhere have said goodbye to Christian Wilkins, John. And this has to do with they don't like the way that Wilkins is rehabilitating his foot injury. He had a foot injury. He was supposed to be out 4 to 6 weeks, or 4 to 6 months, I believe, in rehab. And it's now been 10, and I guess he's not ready to return, and he must not be ready to play, and camp has arrived. Anyway, this is a major story, but Christian Wilkins cut by the Raiders. There's almost for sure going to be some kind of, investigation by the Players Association. There's going to be lawyers involved here. This is a really good football player. And before we get into the idea of could the Niners jump in on him, what do you think of the news of the day? Christian Wilkins, first-round pick, 13th overall of the Dolphins, signed with the Raiders, and the Raiders walked away from the contract today, and essentially, he's got to go chase down now $30-some-odd million of his money. I don't know the exact details of what's going on here, but it sounds like they're not happy with how he's gone about his rehabilitation, and they're cutting him free. What do you think? It's an incredible story.
I was texting with a friend in Vegas because I knew we were going to talk about this, and what happened was, first of all, he played 5 games for the Raiders, signed a $110 million contract, and we all know that it's funny money, but he got $49 million to play 5 games, so that's not so bad. And they still owe him over $35 million. He has already said that he is going to file a grievance with the Players Union, so there's going to be a back and forth. What it tells me is the Raiders are always what they have been, whether it's Al Davis, Mark Davis, whatever the case may be. I'm sure this came from Mark Davis, but they're a mess, and they've always been a mess, and they're always going to be a mess. Ownership goes, and it rots from the head down, and that's what Mark Davis is. You have great ownership, it's going to come down. You have bad ownership, it's going to come down. It doesn't matter who you hire. Pete Carroll's a good coach. They've got a good GM that came from Tampa Bay. They don't generally do stupid stuff, those two guys, whatever you think of Pete Carroll. He's been a winning coach, but it's Mark Davis at the top. So they're going to let Christian Wilkins go. It's a terrible look around the league where he is. But what their thought is, why they're mad is They wanted Christian Wilkins to have a second surgery because it's taking too long to rehab this injury. He didn't want to have the second surgery. He wanted to just keep rehabbing. He's not ready to go. It pissed off the Raiders. Therefore, they released him, and that's where they are.
It's an amazing story. He's a 29-year-old defensive lineman. He's from Springfield, Mass. Grew up a Patriots fan. First-round pick in 19, 13th overall. Very strong player. Very, great player at Clemson. I mean, earned his degree in 2.5 years. High character, team captain. Great athleticism. Very productive. High character. He's a 3 technique. I mean, he's scheme versatile though. I mean, this guy could play. He can play defensive end in a 3-4 as a 5 technique. He can play in a 4-3 as a 3 technique. I mean, I think he's a very versatile defensive lineman. He plays with a low pad level. He's always been a leader. He's always been a high character guy. He's a very versatile player, as I just described. Very quick hands. He batted down 15 passes in his career at Clemson. He's really at his best kind of in the Niners scheme, which is, a shoot the gap, 1 gap penetrating type scheme. He can be a 2-gapper. He's got enough bulk, but he's always been thought to be, he's got an elite burst. He's a high IQ player. He's a leader. He's got an elite work ethic. This is a really good football player. So, I mean, it's not like this guy's a bum or this guy's some bad actor or this guy's like, you know what? Oh, you know what? We got bad vibes about Christian off the field. No, this is a guy who graduated college in 2.5 years and is a leader and is smart. And he had a huge, number of teams pursuing him. And when he was a free agent, the Raiders landed him, but it was after New England wanted him. Other teams were offering him millions. So, what do you think? The 49ers don't have, they just got their defensive tackles rated as dead last by ESPN. The 49ers tried to sign Javon Hargrave a couple years ago to give them an interior pass rush. It just didn't happen. They drafted C.J. West and Alfred Collins to start, you would think, but they're really run defenders. If you look at the Niners' defensive front, Evan Anderson, run defender. Those guys, run defenders. I mean, the only real 1-gap penetrating defensive tackles they have would be like Kevin Givens, who's been around a long time, maybe Kalia Davis. What do you think? Should the Niners go try to knock down the door of Christian Wilkins? The Niners' stated goal is to build a dominant defensive line. This guy would definitely help. There's no question about that. They have a ton. They have the second most cap room of any team in the sport. Should the Niners go after Wilkins?
As long as the health checks out. It's a Jones fracture, by the way, is what the injury is. And if you don't know what that is, it's a broken bone in the foot. So, you check out the physical side of things, and then you hope to work out the financial side of things. But in terms of, let's just go by need. And like you said, and look, today was my big day because on the first day of camp, I was glued to the wide receivers and I was watching Jennings, and that was everybody's kind of thing, right? Ricky Pearsall out in the distance. And so for day 1 of training camp, I was staring at the receivers. Day 2 at training camp, I literally watched like a half hour of drills with the guys. Chris Kuceric was all over Alfred Collins. He's going to take a minute, man. That's just what's going to happen. That's what rookies do. C.J. West is going to take a minute. That's what rookies do. Jordan Elliott had a horrible year. And again, if you agree with Pro Football Focus, whatever, he had a 47.9 grade. Think of a 47.9 grade and bring it home to your parents. You're grounded. He was terrible last year. Givens is undersized. They're going away from that. So he might get some reps, but what they're trying to do is improve. We'll talk about him a little bit later, but the speed at linebacker, but it's not big size. Nick Martin, when you stand next to him, he's not a big guy. D. Winters, saw him at the podium today, not a big guy. So the issue becomes they need that big bulk to keep those guys off the linebackers who can flow and make plays. That's the way that this defense is going to work. Wilkins can do that, but he's got to be healthy, and he's got to take a number that the Niners would be comfortable with. The Niners are in on everything. That's the way that this front office works. They're in on everything. Now, whether they can do it, whether they, Wilkins wants to agree. Now he's a complete free agent. Now he's already filed the grievance, all that kind of stuff. But it comes down to, will they make a call? I mean, I think you and I can agree on this. They will make a call. They'll find out what the health of Wilkins is, because here's the one caveat to the whole thing of why they may not. They just got rid of a guy like this. Hargrave was injury prone. They don't want that. And they spent the whole offseason basically with a bunch of names who got injured too much, who were overpaid. Hufanga, Debo, Hargrave. Everybody screamed and yelled about all these guys, but they weren't producing what the number on their check or the zeros on their check said they should be. And they just got rid of a bunch of guys like that. So if Wilkins has any question as far as his injuries, I don't think the Niners would be interested. But if he comes across and they say, look, it's just going to be a few weeks or whatever the case, even like PUP list for the first 4, but he's going to be okay, I think they would be interested because, like I said, what is the likelihood of Collins, Williams, CJ West, all these young guys all coming through, let alone, the other guys on the backside, the linebackers and the defensive backs? That's a lot of pressure to put on rookies. Wilkins would be great so these guys could develop a little bit slower, which they likely will anyway.
I'm a big fan. What do you think of this comment from Howdy? He says, Jones fractures are incredibly difficult to heal on larger individuals. So is this kind of like a Liz Frank? Is a Jones fracture similar to a Liz Frank?
No, it's different, but just to his point, I mean, if you think about it, it's broken bones in the foot. So, okay, you've got this large structure. I'm just, I am not a doctor. I don't know if you could tell that, but you have a large structure. Your feet are supposed
Wait. You're not a doctor?
I know that's incredibly hard to believe.
Why are we doing this? I always thought all those years when you were doing sports radio that you were just a doctor.
I was working on that.
Maybe didn't like the stress of being a doctor.
Just as Howdy points out here, that is the foundation here. And now you're talking about your feet and you're having issues with it. Like, I get it. But, again, it's the Niners saying, is this guy healthy? That's everything that it depends on. But like you said, you can scream and yell about lists all you want. I don't know if they have the worst defensive line. They have the most inexperienced, because think about this. 3 of the 4 spots along the defensive line could feature rookies. 3 of the 4 spots along the defensive line could feature rookies. And rookies are dart throws. They could be great. They could be really bad. So if you could get a guy who is proven in this league, of course you want to do it.
It's interesting, too, because Nick Bosa today said, hey, I think we have a Super Bowl caliber team. And then Louis Riddick came out and was like, hey, I think the Niners are a rebuilding team. And it's like, well, which one is it? Are they a rebuilding team or are they a Super Bowl team? Which is more likely to be the case? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Riddick basically said, 49ers are in fact, I'll play this for you real quick. This is Riddick from earlier on ESPN. And I like Riddick, sharp guy, former personnel guy. And he's asking the question, or really debating with Dog here, if the Niners are a rebuilding team or not.
The 49ers are expected to take the season without their top receiver, Brandon Ayuk. His ACL and MCL in Week 7 is torn of last season. General Manager John Lynch says they've got no concrete timeline on when he may return. The Niners suffered without Ayuk on the field last year and missed the playoffs, despite, of course, having Super Bowl aspirations. Louis, are the Niners a rebuild or contenders this season?
I personally think they're in a rebuild, and I think they're in a rebuild because of the state of affairs in the trenches on both sides of the ball. It's being rebuilt. It just is. Look, Trent isn't going to play forever, Trent Williams. All right? And if you take him off of that offensive line, I know there are people, if you look at that offensive line, they'll sit there and go, oh, man, who are we without Trent Williams? Quite honestly, if you kind of even back that out, who are the 49ers now, considering the fact that, look, I remember doing games with them as recently as maybe 2-3 years ago. Look, Debo was kind of like the heart and soul of this football team in terms of the way they like to play football, the bully ball that they like to play, the attitude that they play with. I don't think San Francisco scares the NFL like that anymore. And a lot of that also had to do with the kind of people they could roll out on the defensive side and rush you in waves on the defensive line. And they had to add a bunch of new young guys on that side of the football, and we don't know how they're going to pan out. We don't know how that unit is going to shape up. Look, we know that guys like Fred Warner and Joey Bosa, or rather Nick Bosa, are going to come out and play. We know that they're going to be there. But outside of that, look, you just don't know who this football team really is. And I think in an NFC West division that is just getting better and better, the Rams are on the up and up. The Cardinals are on the up and up. And Seattle is going to be better too. I think this could be one of those seasons where, look, San Francisco, I think you need to temper your expectations for them. I do. I know people don't like the word rebuild, but they are rebuilding some things there.
Well, I did.
All right, so there you go. That was basically his point. What do you think, John? Would you say? I mean, I understand what he's saying. Niners have one proven corner, Demo, one proven linebacker, Fred, and one defensive lineman in Bosa. That's probably a starter, and the rest of their guys are probably backups, and they're hoping that they drafted starters. Are the Niners, in your mind, if I said to you, are they more of a rebuild project, or would you say they're closer to being a Super Bowl 60 contender? What are they?
I think they're a contender because they will score points. They'll score points. He really didn't mention. He's talking about the offensive line. Louis Riddick knows, but this isn't far different from the offensive line that went to the Super Bowl. They haven't had a good offensive line for a few years now. Aaron Banks leaving is not a massive loss. I don't know who's going to play left guard, and I know Ben March is out right now, so Nick Zakelj was in there. But again, they won't have pads until Monday, so we're not going to find anything out. Look, Robert Saleh said from the podium today that they're potentially going to have 6 to 8 rookies. And then he went on a bit of a tangent of, look, rookies will make mistakes. We will be better. So what he's saying is what we may be in week 1 is hopefully not what we are in week 8. And if they're in it, then they're going to get better and better and better. And that's what they've got to hope to do. But you're going to look at, you got to hope on Mikael Williams. You got to hope on Collins. You got to hope on Upton Stout. You got to hope on Nick Martin or D Winters. Like, there's a lot of what ifs. And if you have a lot of what ifs, and I don't care what sport we're talking about, then then I don't know how good your team is going to be. So I don't fully agree with him because I think they're going to score enough points. I think Brock is going to bounce back. They need to have reasonable health. Yeah, a lot goes on Ayuk, all that kind of stuff. There is no question whether McCaffrey is healthy to me. It goes back to the defense. Can Robert Saleh do some sort of a miracle on this defense? Because like you said, Bosa's the only proven defensive lineman. Warner's the only proven linebacker. And other than Demo, you have one proven corner. I like what Stout brings to the table, but we haven't put on pads yet. A second-year corner that's got to take a big step up. Jair Brown scares the hell out of me, and I don't know when Malik Mustafa is going to be back. So, yeah, they got a hell of a lot of what-ifs and question marks on the defense.
Yeah, I think they are a contender, but I'm really very, very concerned about their ability to rush the passer. I think they have to come up with more rush, especially inside. And that's why Wilkins, to me, does make sense. And you're right. It's a big question mark. Is he healthy? Is he not? The Raiders just, cut him 1 year into a 5-year, $110 million deal and voided $35.2 million of guaranteed salary for Wilkins. So they obviously feel that the Jones fracture thing is very serious. Supposedly it happened 10 months ago, and yet it was supposed to be a 4 to 6 month rehab schedule, and here we are 10 months out, and it sounds like he's not ready to roll. So that's why I'm like, hey, you know what? If the it's a big if, right? If he physically checks out, I would want to spend my cap money on Christian Wilkins. I think he's scheme versatile. I think he could really help, and I think he's the kind of person. I think the Niners are really concerned about ever really signing free agents after Devondre Campbell. I don't think they want to give anybody any money at all who's questionable character-wise. And Wilkins is thought to be a really high character guy. So if his injury checks out, I'd be all about him coming here. One other name that's kind of interesting is today Gabe Davis went on with Kay Adams, and let's see if we can play that. I think we can play that. I want to check this out. I think, let me see here. He went on with Kay Adams, and let me double check. Yeah, we can share the screen. Here we go. Wait, where is it? Maybe I dumped it. I might have dumped it. Hold on. You would think this. I've done this before. This is not my first stream, but apparently not. Anyway, here it is. So Gabe Davis, the former Buffalo Bills receiver who the Niners looked at earlier this year, went on with Kay Adams today and talked about how he thinks the 49ers are a perfect fit for what he brings to the table. And this is an interesting one. So we'll share the screen here and you guys can hear this. Here is Gabe Davis earlier talking about the 49ers and how he'd like to play for the Niners.
I went on a visit there. It was awesome. I have a lot of teammates from UCF and previous players like Mac Jones and Isaiah Hodgins that were there. So definitely a team that I'm interested in for sure. San Fran is a nice spot. It's a great team with great players. Talked to Christian, talked to Greg and all them, and I met George, and I talked to a lot of the people out there, and it's awesome. San Fran's definitely a spot that I'm looking at, and Shanahan's the man. He knows how to call an offense, right? And they just got a lot of great weapons around there. So
they need a deep ball threat. All I'm saying, it's easy math for me. I'm no coordinator, but
hey man, listen, I give props to those guys. Those guys been making some plays. Jennings was making hella plays when he had to. It was awesome to watch. And Ayuk's a stud. He's a true number one player and got a lot of respect for his game. So definitely a team that interests me because I like to be around great players like that. It's definitely a great opportunity. I went on a
That's an interesting one. Now, the thing about this little exchange with Kay Adams that makes me think that where there's smoke, there could be fire. One, Gabe Davis already did work out for the Niners. Two, he's 26. He's not 33. He's 26. Three, the way she was like, hey, they need you. And I kind of feel like if he wasn't really going to come here, he'd be like, yeah, they need me. But if he is going to come here, I think he responded exactly the way you would expect somebody who is going to come here would respond. Oh, I don't know about that, Kay. They got some really good players over there. Jennings is a really good player, and this, that's what you say when you're going to be the new guy walking in the room or walking in that door. You don't walk in and go, that's right, they need a guy like me. They don't have anybody like me. I'm going to walk in the door. You know what I mean? You're going to downplay it if you're really going into the room. So the way Gabe Davis answered her questions, John, it sounds like he thinks the 49ers are viable. And I like the idea of Gabe Davis more than I like the idea of Amari Cooper, more than I like the idea of Keenan Allen. I'd rather go for the younger receiver. He's a boundary X. He's an X receiver who's really best not on crossing patterns and middle of the field stuff. He's better along the sideline, down the field. And I kind of feel like they don't have that piece. So I don't think he would be redundant. I think Gabe Davis on the Niners would fit nicely. What do you think?
Well, for opening night at least, and probably the first two, because Demarcus Robinson, who's actually bigger than you think and has had, again, we're only 2 days into camp, but he's looked really good. But the problem is they don't have a third wide receiver. Jacob Cowing's injury is pretty significant because even though he didn't do much last year outside of a nice 41-yard play, they really liked what he did in OTAs. They were hoping that he was going to have a really big camp and he would at least be the slot for opening night. Well, that's gone. So you got Juwan Jennings. By the way, I was lazy and I was one of the last ones to go to the far field for the 11-on-11s. And Ricky Pearsall darted by me full speed, cuts, jumps, twists, grabs a ball with one hand, and then sprints to the end zone. So unless something crazy happens, he'll be on the field Sunday. He was like, I'm looking at, and I'm going, he's 100%. So
he looks.
Oh my God!
You're right.
I was
now,
like, what in the hell just zipped me?
He looks bigger.
Yeah.
Than I've ever seen him.
He is
faster
so
than I've ever seen him.
He is athletic.
He looks.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he's on a side field working out by himself.
Yeah.
But got to factor that in.
Right by me, I was like, damn.
But he looks tremendous.
Yeah. So Ricky starts one at one. Juwan starts at the other. They need a slot. Or if it's an outside guy like Gabe, then Juwan or Ricky can both go in the slot. They got all the receivers, by the way, in camp doing all the positions. So whatever. So somebody goes in the slot. But they need a starting wide receiver. And Kyle even said yesterday they're going to monitor what's going on. So the only thing about Gabe Davis is he visited like 3 or 4 teams. Why didn't anybody sign him? Like, is there some sort of lingering injury with him or whatever? Because based on his resume, I mean, he made lots of big plays in the playoffs for Buffalo. He's been there, done that. He's tough. He's big. You would think he would be a 49er receiver. He just, basically pled for you to sign him. You do need a receiver, and you do need a veteran receiver. What's the holdup? He's already visited you. What's the holdup with Gabe Davis? What is going on? Because look, they have a number of receivers, and I know we're going to get into the catch of the day and that kind of stuff because there's a young guy, but again, it's just like the defense. It's unproven. Do you want to go into the season with a bunch of unproven guys holding your breath? I think that Brandon Ayuk, based on John Lynch's response on Tuesday, where he basically just said, look, moving on, we don't even have a timeline. That tells me he's at least going to be on the PUP list to miss the first 4 games. So let's get Ayuk out of the equation for the first 4 games. So it's Pearsall, it's Jennings, and Cowing. That, again, same thing. You can tell based on the reaction. Kyle Shanahan, that sounds to me like that's a 2 to 4 week injury. I don't know that he might be ready for week 1, but he missed all of camp, so he's not going to be ready for week 1. At least I don't know that his conditioning will be. So they need a third receiver for week 1.
Yeah, no question. And Davis is big and has talent. Had a huge playoff game against Kansas City a few years ago. He's not old. I think he makes a lot of sense. I really like the idea of Gabe Davis with the 49ers. Okay, one thing I want to put on the screen here and tell people about before we go any further. We have a brand new that Patrick Willis has been hanging out at practice.
Yeah.
And if you would like to be entered into a chance to win the signed Patrick Willis 52 49er jersey, we're going to give it away at the end of the month. It's autographed by Patrick Willis, number 52 jersey. To enter, all you got to do is you got to subscribe to The Krug Show, and then you have to follow Claw Daddy Arcades on Instagram. And there's a link in the description below. We put a form in the description below, and there's a link in there. And all you got to do is sub to The Krug Show and follow Claw Daddy Arcades on Instagram, and you're automatically entered into the drawing to win the autographed Patrick Willis number 52 jersey, the current Hall of Famer, who's one of the great 49ers in history. So once again, Claw Daddy Arcades is a great follow on Instagram at Claw_Daddy_Arcades, and you can find a location near you. And of course, all you got to do is hit sub, and you can sub to The Krug Show. So if you sub to The Krug Show and you follow Claw Daddy Arcades on the gram, you're automatically entered into a chance to win the Patrick Willis autographed number 52 jersey, which we'll give away at the end of, I believe at the end, we're giving it away next Friday or at the very end of July. So we have a week to go. So we're only going to do this for a week. So once again, sub to The Krug Show, follow Claw Daddy Arcades on IG, and you will be entered to win the Patrick Willis autographed jersey.
Nice.
Yeah, very, very nice. All right, let's talk about today. Today, 90-minute practice number 2. And John, Isaiah Neyor was the story. I mean, he made, this is a rookie wide receiver from Nebraska who made an amazing catch today. Just a fantastic grab by Neyor. What did you think of the catch? What did you think of that play? I mean, it was an unbelievable play. It was triple coverage.
So, do you want to play it and then we can discuss it?
Let's see.
Let's talk about it.
Where do we have it here?
I sent it over to you. The Niners posted it.
There we go.
So if you have it, we got to go to the beginning of it. You got to go back.
Okay,
to the
so
beginning
here it is.
There he
Isaiah
is right
Neyor.
Yeah, from Mac Jones.
Jones.
11 on
threw the
11
ball.
here.
Yeah,
you and I were right across from it. You and I were right across from this thing.
This thing was amazing.
I didn't think he could catch it.
This and by the way, Isaiah Neyor is a 6'4" rookie receiver. Started at Wyoming, then went to Texas, finished up at Nebraska, went undrafted. Niners signed him. He's got unbelievable measurables: 6'4", 220, 4.4 flat speed, 40-inch vertical, 36-inch arms. He's got just a massive catch radius, and he looks like Randy Moss. He looks almost exactly like Randy Moss. In fact, if there was a movie on Randy Moss, this guy would play Randy Moss. There's just no doubt. Look at this guy and tell me that this guy doesn't look like Randy Moss. Now, I'm not saying he's Randy Moss. Randy Moss is the second best receiver to Jerry Rice of all time. But Isaiah Neyor did go to Wyoming, had a big year there, and then went and entered into the portal, and everybody wanted him. And Texas signed him. He immediately tore his ACL. Then, by the time he rehabbed it, Texas was loaded. He transferred to Nebraska, and he played for Raiola. He was Raiola's receiver this year, and he had a good year for Nebraska. So here he is at practice. He made the biggest play in the OTAs 3 weeks ago on a Tanner Mordecai deep ball that looked like it was 5 yards past him, and he took his massive strides. I mean, that's the thing that really stands out. Kittle said it on Bussin' with the Boys on that podcast. He said Isaiah Neyor's stride is just the most ridiculous stride of all time. He just eats up so much ground. But here he is, triple coverage, making the play of camp, really the play of multiple camps. This is the best catch I've seen in a 49er camp in a long time. Let me see if I can get it going here. Where is it? There we go. Here we go. No sound. Mack drops back to pass. He's going to put some loft under it. Neyor, look at this, slow-mo. One guy, two guys, three guys, all there. He catches it, hits the ground, rolls over, and lands on his feet. And then flexes, and, I mean, it's just.
You can see how long he is.
You see, and by the way, right as he was running over there, I think it was Ayuk coming over to congratulate him. And look at the arm length here.
So
and
I've got his
flat speed. It's just ridiculous.
I've got his NFL Combine numbers up. So like you just said, he's listed at 6'4", 218. He's got 34 3/8 arms, which is ridiculous. And here's the other thing, Krug. His athletic score at the Combine was second. It was a 92, second amongst all receivers. A 92 score in athleticism, 4.4 flat 40, and a 38-inch vertical. So, I mean, just ridiculous. And
look at him.
I mean, it's ridiculous. He was projected to go in the 6th or 7th round, and what Zerline says is height, weight, speed, finished 5 years of college, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, he says weaknesses. So we just said how great he is. Doesn't always play to his size advantage. Inconsistent gauging speed as a deep ball tracker. Well, he just did that. Needs to fight harder for his catch space, hurries his routes, blah, blah, blah. So anyway.
He's raw.
Yeah, he's raw. But, I mean, dude, you're looking for receivers. That dude he's height, weight, speed. He's height, weight, speed, but can you teach him? Because he did catch that kind of like a basket. You want to see a guy hands catch it, but he's a guy to watch. He's a guy that you put a pin in, and then every day at camp, you're just like, let's see how he's catching the ball. Because honestly, I haven't watched him in camp a ton. Like I was watching the receivers, but I was watching guys like Demarcus Robinson, and I'm watching, like Ayuk was out there today bouncing around, all that kind of stuff. I'm watching, I'm watching all the receivers, but I wasn't like, who's 14? And all of a sudden he makes that play. Now all of a sudden it's going to be like, okay, all eyes on him. How does he catch the ball? Is he a hands catcher, or is he trying to catch with his chest? Or now all of a sudden everybody's going to have their eye on him to see how he's catching the ball and how he's running routes. And now we're going to, kind of hone in on this dude.
Look at this comment from Yoshi World. Neyor sounds like hair removal product.
That's Nair.
That's Nair.
Nair. But you're not wrong.
Did you put your Neyor on? Oh yeah, you kidding me? It's smooth, very smooth. Ever since I put my Neyor on, this guy's something, man. This guy's something. It's crazy. It's crazy because you just don't see guys. First of all, you don't see a lot of 6'4", 220-pound receivers. Period. It's a big receiver.
Who can run like that?
And then you never see 6'4", 220, and he runs 4.4 flat. You know who's kind of like that? Megatron.
Oh my God, what did he run? He ran
Megatron ran fourth in the 4.3s.
Yeah,
and he was 6'5".
Oh my God,
and he was just huge.
Yeah,
this guy's even bigger.
Big.
This guy's heavier. He's 220 pounds. And I'm telling you, man. If you're that big and you're that, Brock Purdy is accurate. He puts the ball on his receiver's hands. If you have 4.4 speed, and you've got 35-inch arms, 36-inch arms, and 40-inch vertical. You've got huge traits there that say that you can separate. And then, I mean, I'll take my chances, man. I mean that Neyor, I'll say this. I mean, if you're going to have a super raw receiver that needs coaching, he might as well be 6'4", 220 with 4.4 speed and 40-inch vertical and 36-inch arms. You know what I mean? You may as well, if you're going to go for – I mean, this guy basically can run stride for stride with Jacob Cowing. And yet Jacob Cowing is 5'8",
175.
175.
Yeah.
And this guy's 6'4", 220.
Yeah.
I mean, that was incredible. That was incredible. So that was reason number one to get excited at practice.
Yep.
I thought reason number two to get excited at practice is Stone Blanton. Stone Blanton, the inside linebacker, another undrafted player out of Mississippi State, linebacker, pick 6. And Stone Blanton is moving around on the practice field. He's communicating. You can tell he knows what he's doing. I asked Johnny Holland, the linebacker coach, about Blanton about a month ago, and he's like, he never makes the same mistake twice. He's like, I'm very impressed by Stone Blanton. He shows up at the football. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He knows how to play. He's very instinctive. So I'm telling you, between Stone Blanton, Nick Martin, D. Winters, and Tatum Bethune, the 49ers have a nice little group of linebackers. Stone Blanton, John, was second in the SEC in tackles. He had a 14-tackle game last year. He had an 18-tackle game. A buddy of mine who's scouts told me that he reminds him of Chris Borland.
He's wearing the same number. Yeah. The old Wisconsin linebacker.
Yeah, he's wearing 50.
The other guy, so what, I mean, again, early in camp, you know who's going to be the starter, you know who the stars are, but early in camp, what it's looking like is D. Winters, who I think has had a couple of nice days, but we'll see on Monday because his problems were he could get there, but then he was like so excited to be there that he was overrunning plays and missing tackles and all those things. He seems more mature this year. He was at the podium and he just seems more relaxed this year. So the two linebackers are D. Winters. He's going to get first crack opposite Warner. When they go to 3 linebackers, most of those reps have been going to Steve Clifford, the guy that they got from Tennessee, and he's more of a special teams guy.
Not Steve Clifford.
What's 57? What's his?
Eric Gifford.
What the hell?
It's Luke Gifford.
Luke Gifford. Sorry,
Gifford,
Luke Gifford, the guy they got from Tennessee. If they need a third linebacker, which less and less you need that in today's NFL, he's been the third linebacker on the field. He hasn't had a ton of time. At the end of last year, he was on the field more for Tennessee just because he had a bunch of injuries, and so he was on the field. But he's a special teams ace kind of a guy. So I expect Martin to beat him out. I expect, probably a couple of guys to beat him out. The one thing about Martin that surprises me, but the Niners' philosophy, I think, has changed up front as far as their tackles are concerned because you've got to keep D. Winters clean. You got to keep Nick Martin clean. Dude, Nick Martin, I don't know if he's 5'11", 220 because the wide receiver we just talked about is bigger than him.
I would say, they list him at 5'11", 222, but yeah, I mean, I'll say this though, he's short, but he's not small. I mean, he's pretty jacked.
But if they can keep guards off him, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to get to the ball, that D. Winters is going to get to the ball. But they have the boys up front, those big boys. Collins has got to do a job. They've got to make sure that those guards don't get to the second level because they'll get swallowed up. They're just not big. But I think that's philosophically, that's more and more what the league is going to do is you're going to get these big bodies inside, or that's what the Niners are doing this year. They got 3 really big bodies. They drafted 2 of them. They want to keep those guys off incredibly fast linebackers, get to the ball, not get touched. But the key for D. Winters is break down and make the play. He was there a lot last year, but he was too excited once he got there.
Yeah, no, it's true. And, he fell off of a number of tackles, and that could be strength. It could be, lack of strength. It can be just poor form. But he's just got to be – when he hits you, you got to go down. He's a good coverage player, but he's a little underpowered. And, I thought he made an amazing interception yesterday. And he talked about it today after practice. And he said, hey, it was all film study. He's like, I recognize the formation from OTAs. And it's like, that's Robert Saleh, all gas, no brakes. If you see it and you think you see it right, don't hesitate. He didn't hesitate. He picked it off. It looked very, very impressive. So it's as far as, the 49ers situation with linebackers. I mean, I don't know if Stone Blanton's going to make the team, but I'll say this. I think he's going to have at least one preseason game where he has at least 10 tackles because he's a tackling machine and he's undersized. But you know what? If you have great instincts, I'll take a guy with great instincts over a guy with size and speed at inside linebacker every day. Let's talk Trent Williams. He took to the podium today after practice, and John, he had a lot of good things to say about Mikael Williams. We'll add this to the mix and listen to Trent, and we'll comment. Here's Trent Williams.
I think
here we go.
Mikael's a huge dude, man. Generally don't see guys that size on the edge. So I mean, it sucks having a base block guy with arms long as your legs, but I mean, I think he has a chance to be a really good player in this NFL. I think he has a chance to be dominant. He has the best coach in the league pushing him. Get to learn from some of the best guys to learn from, obviously Nick. So I'm happy to see how he turned out.
So yeah, definitely sounds like Trent is impressed by Mikael Williams. At one point, John, he compared him to DeForest Buckner.
Yeah.
Said it kind of reminds him of DeForest Buckner, which is, that's always good to hear. Anytime you got somebody saying you're DeForest Buckner. But yeah, he said he's a huge dude. He's got a chance to be dominant. He's got all the tools to be an all-pro. I see a young Defoe. He called him an intriguing prospect. And then he said that the two of them hung out in Cabo a little bit when they were down in Mexico last month.
That story is hilarious because Mikael Williams, a rookie, calls up Trent Williams and says, hey, man, can I borrow your plane? And Trent goes, no, you can't borrow my plane, rookie, but I'm going to Cabo and I'll give you a ride, but you can't borrow my plane.
I didn't catch that. He said that.
Yeah, he goes, he called him to say, can I borrow your plane? Because, of course, Trent Williams has a plane. And so then he's like, no, you can't borrow my plane, but I'll take you. Like, you can ride with me, but you're not taking my plane. You know who he reminds me of? Mikael Williams reminds me of, and I'm not off the field, none of that kind of stuff. Because, like I said, I was over by the D-line a lot today, and I was watching his get-offs. He may size-wise look a little bit like Defoe, but he's got a get-off. He looks like Alden, man. And I remember Alden's first padded practice because I was right there, and Joe Staley was having a hell of a time with him. And think about it. When Alden came out as the number 7 overall pick from Missouri, he was 20 years old. We didn't know a lot about him, and he had these vines for arms, right? And Joe Staley was having a hell of a time. And I remember talking to Joe after that, and Joe was like, this guy's a monster. And I'm not saying Mikael Williams is that quite yet because he had the fewest snaps of any edge player coming out of the draft. He is raw with his rush. He doesn't have go-to moves or anything like that. I'm just saying physically. He's long. His arms are long. He's a big, strong dude. Alden was a lot stronger than you thought he was. That's what I think Mikael Williams is. I think he's more raw, though, because Alden was like shot out of a cannon. He had, 42 sacks in his first 43 games. So it's, I think he could be that. And obviously you got to stay on the straight and narrow. I'm not saying as a person he's that, but that's what he looks like. When you stand there and you look at him, he's much bigger than Nick Bosa. He's a long player that has a lot of size. And that's what Trent was talking about. And then, you and I will be down there on Monday. I mean, Monday is going to be the day. That's going to be so fun watching Nick and Trent against Mikael. They start doing the one-on-ones, then we'll be able to tell something. Then we'll have a real story to tell about how good Mikael Williams could be.
Mikael Williams in college played 40 games and had 14 career sacks. Alden Smith in college played 23 games.
Exactly.
And he had 14 and a half sacks. So he played, about they basically had the exact same production, except Alden did it in like 17 fewer games. So he's just a lot more productive than Mikel. But I see what you're saying, body type. That's funny that you would throw that comp. The comp for me is Trayvon Walker. He's Trayvon Walker. He's big, strong, and heavy without being broad. Like, he's still fairly narrow like Trayvon Walker, but he's heavy. Like, Trayvon Walker is like 275 pounds, and he's like 6'5". Well, this guy is like 6'4", 6'5", and he's about 270 pounds, and he's also he looks kind of thin. He doesn't look big and wide. He's kind of more narrow. Right. Mm-hmm. They're power-based players. Now, Trayvon Walker, I think, is a power-based rusher. He's developed into a nice player. Mikel's got some development coming for sure, but there's a lot to like. I mean, he's just very, very athletic, very strong. He doesn't have, like, I said in a video the other day, he's got no moves, and people are taking me literally. Krug, he's got this move and that move. I just mean he has relatively no moves. It's not that he has zero moves. It's just that almost every scout that I've talked to said that his weakness is that he doesn't have a very well-developed pass rush plan. He's not like the kid from Marshall, Green. I think his name was Mike Green, who had just an array of different moves and all kinds of spins and counters to counters, and just he is a guy who had a full bag of tricks. He's like the rookie / veteran. Mikel is much more of, he give you the long arm. He's going to do a couple of things, but they're not really coordinated moves, and he will learn it. But right now, my point is that I used to say about Javon Kinlaw, he gets by on ass. To some degree, Mikel Williams does as well. These guys get by on talent and strength and power, but eventually, he'll string together technique and moves and be able to, be like liquid. For every move he's got, or every move the offensive tackle has, he's got a counter and that kind of thing. He's not there yet, but I think he's going to be really intriguing inside with Huff and Bosa outside.
I was just going to say that people have to realize too, when they go to their turbo package, he's going to go inside, and he's big enough to be there, and he's going to give guards trouble. By the way, I'm glad you mentioned Bryce Huff, because he's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle of the defensive line. So I was watching him against Trent Williams just for fun. He is so fast that a couple of times Trent couldn't even get out of his stance. Now, to be fair to Trent, training camp is kind of a ramp up for Trent at 37. He's not every play like a rookie is. Rookies are just trying to and Huff is trying to kind of, reestablish himself to an extent. But I'm telling you, man, Bryce Huff off the snap is about as fast as it gets. I mean, he is really, really fast. And so I was kind of
no wasted steps, totally choreographed.
He's a perfect Chris Kasarik guy in that he just bursts. And I was watching
get off king.
Yeah. And so what they were doing with some of the stuff was they were using the sleds for the inside guys, and then they would stop and they would do bursts for the outside guys. And right in a row, they went Bosa, Williams, and then Huff. And Huff is like a rocket, man. And then I was watching the 11-on-11s, and a couple of times, because like I said, Trent's not going 100. He's not going to do that in camp. A couple of times Huff, and he just zipped right by him. It would have been an easy sack. The guy has serious speed. So you were talking about pass rush before. Having Bosa on one side, Huff on the other, and if Mikel Williams can start, give some guards some trouble, and then I don't know who's going to be the fourth defensive tackle in that rotation as far as the second package, which they call the turbo package. They could give him some trouble, but again, they got to get him in that down, right? They got to get him in the third and longs.
Yeah, no question. What do you think? Let's talk receivers. Niners added yesterday Equanimous St. Brown from Notre Dame. Today they added Quintez Cephas, who played at Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. They cut Izzy Abanaconda, who I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to see Izzy. But Pearsall's got the hamstring. He's on the PUP list, working on the side field. He looks amazing. He looks bigger, stronger, faster. Can't wait till he gets out there. Cowing's got a hamstring pull, which is probably why Cephas was signed. Juwan Jennings has not held in or held out. He had 3 more receptions today. He's just going about his business. I don't know if he's going to get an extension or not. And then you have Ayuk, who's probably out until, Thanksgiving or Halloween or something like that. What you got a quick thought on the receivers, the new ones or the injured ones or the healthy ones or the rehabbing ones? What you got a quick thought on any of the receivers?
I've really been impressed by Demarcus Robinson. He's just really professional.
Awesome.
He runs really good routes. He's got great hands, plucks it easy out of the air. And I know everybody's seen him. He went to Kansas City. He does, it's not like he stood out. I think his career high in catches is like 31. He was with the Rams. So what? But you know what? He's going to make some plays for the Niners. He just makes it easy. He gets off the line. He had a couple of catches both today and yesterday in 11-on-11s. He's just really solid. And so when they get everybody back, maybe he's a third or a fourth wide receiver, but because he's going to be going against, some lesser corners or a safety sometimes, he's going to make some plays. People are going to be like, damn, this guy's pretty solid. So when they get everybody back, he's going to be good. But, it's unfortunate because of the DUI thing, because they could really use him in the first couple of weeks of the season. But I really like him. So other than that, I'm with you. You're going to have – I love the way Pearsall looks. Jennings looks absolutely amazing. Somebody's got to step up of these third wide receivers, and I think that they're going to make a move. And it's not a St. Brown. It's not, like you said, it's not a Cephas. It's not somebody like that. Kyle said in after day one of camp from the podium that they're going to be looking for somebody. So whether it's a Gabe Davis, whether it comes down to an Amari Cooper, whether somebody is overstocked at the position, which always happens in training camp, some guys emerge and all of a sudden, you start getting on the phone and somebody's got somebody that, we're overstocked at wide receiver. It's going to happen. They're going to add somebody. They're going to add a name. There's no question about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. A couple last thoughts. We saw Richie Grant work today with the number ones at safety. Robert Saleh made it perfectly clear after practice that both free safety and strong safety are wide freaking open. As far as he's concerned, it could be Pinnock, it could be Mustafa, it could be Brown, it could be Grant, it could be any number of guys. Siegel, they like their depth. They cut George Odom, but they both spots for safety wide open. Also, Upton Stout got first-team reps today at the slot cornerback. That's an interesting thing. Nick Zakel with Ben Barch working on a side field is getting number 1 reps at left guard. He looks like he's potentially the starter at left guard if Barch can't go, in front of Colby and Moss, the rookies. And then the rap sheet tweeted something that I want your thoughts on. He says it wouldn't surprise him, Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network, if the Niners, this is very specific, he says it wouldn't surprise him if the Niners gave Juwan Jennings a 2-year deal at $13 million per year before the season started. That is if that's just a hunch, if this guy gets it right, Schefter and all these other guys should just quit. If Rap Sheet can say weeks in advance that Jennings is going to get a 2-year, $13 million a year extension, and he winds up with a 2-year, $26 million extension, as far as I'm concerned, I'm listening to the Rap Sheet from now on.
Well, I said this on my show yesterday, crazy enough, because if you're going to negotiate a deal with Juwan Jennings, think about it. Why would you spend this time negotiating a 1-year deal? You're going to negotiate at least a 2-year deal, because you're sitting there going, okay, you're
a free agent at the end of the year.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So if you're negotiating, okay, I get it. You've got a great circumstance here because Ayuk is out. So right now you're our de facto number 1. 10 is not going to do it. 12 sounds about right. Why don't we just do a couple of years here at a decent number? Because I think he probably started thinking, I'm at $20 million. Well, we just unloaded a $20 million receiver, and we don't want to put that many resources into the room again. We're not going to do that. So, we could get you in the, 12 to 15 range, and we'll do it for 2 years. Why negotiate this for just a year? Let's negotiate this thing for 2 years, and then we'll see where we are after that. What do you think of that idea? Because you can redo your wide receiver room in the NFL real easily. I don't know why they were all smoking crack and had to give all these guys a bunch of money. I get it with Chase. I get it with Jefferson. Everybody else, A bunch of them come in the league every single year. It's not like the quarterback position. They don't have that much leverage. So, yeah, I'd be comfortable with Juwan Jennings getting a couple of years in that 12 to 15 range. I'd be fine with it. And now you've got somebody solid because, look, man, Ayuk's still coming back from an injury. You don't know. Ricky Pearsall is an unproven commodity, even though he looks extremely athletic. He looks a little bit more bulked up. I feel good about Ricky, but I haven't seen him produce. I know, again, end of last year, last couple games, gets 14 catches. I'm very encouraged about what Ricky's going to bring to the table. But Ricky, Ayuk, and Jennings would be a really nice threesome at the position, but I haven't really seen it yet. So, yeah, I could see the Niners just doing 2 years and then kind of evaluating the position after that.
The guy that I would go after, I'm a big fan of his. I loved him at Nevada, and I still love him, is Romeo Doubs.
Yeah, good call.
And if I could get Romeo Doubs, I'd give up a 4th-round pick for Romeo Doubs. And I think Doubs might get dealt. I saw DJ Chark got worked out today by Chicago, and there's some receivers out there still on the street. And there's also going to be a number of guys who are cut. We got this question that's kind of interesting. Larry, how is Junior Bergen looking? I thought he looked incredible today on some of the wide receiver drills. I thought he caught the ball really crisp. You can tell it is important to Junior Bergen. Football is vitally important to him. So I don't know. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the fastest guy. He played at Montana, for crying out loud. But and he's going to have to make the team as a return man. But yeah, I think he looked kind of crisp. I thought he looked kind of sharp. I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I saw a little bit in the first day that we came around, and they did a lot of special teams. They didn't do special teams, at least while we were there today. He was catching a lot of punts. He was the main guy catching punts there. So like you said, he's going to have to make the team that way. And when you see guys, as we said a little bit earlier, a couple of free agent wide receivers step forth, when he's given opportunities, he better make them, because there's a couple of guys on this team who we just talked about. One of them, height, weight, speed kind of a thing. He's undersized, so he's got to make his mark on special teams.
All right, let's hit some supers and we'll bolt. We got this one, T-Guns 80. This is pig in a pickle with emojis.
Nice.
I like the
Very
pig.
nice.
Look at that. He's got the nose, the snout, the
Well
eyes,
done.
the whole. Look at that. That's very
I had
good
to
stuff.
take a minute.
Seriously, that shows some ingenuity. Quicksilver, congrats, Larry. Love your content, dude. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. We got this one from Dave Contreras, new member. Always
Very
give a little
cool.
clap for the new members. Thank you, Dave, for jumping aboard. And it looks like he's jumped aboard on your side, Johnny. So way to go,
Good
Dave.
man.
We got another one here from Digital Drew, member for 29 months. This is the man from Chicago who works on Mortal Kombat. He says, amazing work on getting to 60,000 subs, Larry. Wonderful to watch and get to know you over the years. Great content, but a better man. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Congrats. Thank you, Digital Drew. Kev is going to be back for Wednesday night call-in shows, and we look forward to all people like Digital Drew who like to call in on Wednesday nights sometimes and be part of our call-in shows. We have a lot of fun with that. Dave Prieto Jazz. Grant Cohn totally saved you, helped you get going. Well, I've said this many times. Grant did kind of save me. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I knew that he was killing it. And I said, Grant, you're killing it. And I just got dumped on the radio, and I'm kind of questioning my very existence on the planet. And he said, Krug, let's go have a hamburger, and we'll talk YouTube, and don't be concerned. You're going to kill it. You're going to love it. It's going to be great. And so I know there's a lot of people that get mad at Grant for his takes, and I get it. And there's times that, I've gotten mad at Grant for his takes, and times that he's gotten mad at me for mine. So I totally get it. But I will say this. He's a good guy, and he helped me when I was down. And to me, I'm a loyal person. When people help me, when I'm your friend for life. So anyway, I appreciate Grant greatly. I really do. MSQ says bottom of the pint tomorrow. Well, I don't know, Johnny. What do you think? Are you going to be at camp tomorrow in the daytime?
Yep.
And if so, what time is Giants go to? Giants are night, right?
Yeah, they got a Mets. They're back home. They're
Are
finally
you
back
going to
home.
feel like bottom of the pinting on a Friday night after getting sun back to back, I'll leave it to you. I'm good to go if you want to go. If it's too much tomorrow, we can skip.
I'll text you in the morning.
Yeah, text me in the
I'll
morning.
text
Let
you
me
in the
know,
morning.
or just you'll see me at camp.
Because we've had 2 weeks ago for the Dodgers was awesome. Last week we had a pisser because they didn't score.
Bad. Right.
They didn't score.
Right.
And
At
when
all.
they don't score, it's like, come on, man.
Bottom
And
of the pint
one
is
rule
like
of bottom of the pint is we try to stay positive, and when they don't score, we're like, what the hell, bro?
seriously. Suddenly, it's like it becomes a huge negative Nancy. Yeah, let me know tomorrow. We got this one from Blue 15 Marine. Shouts out to Krug and Lund. While we're here, Niners will scare this league. Let's get it. I like that. Joseph in the house. Joseph Ernberg. I'm genuinely hyped. This season's going to be magical. Okay, somebody go see Ernberg. I mean, something's wrong there. Ernberg's been hacked, ladies and gentlemen. Ernberg has officially been hacked. This is a man of great negativity, consistent negativity. If he says he's hyped and the season's going to be magical, I think Ernberg.
Maybe or smoking.
Yeah,
Could be.
maybe Ernberg wacky tobacco. Is
Put you in a mood.
Is he going wacky tobacco?
Could.
He could be. Anthony Catania, who is the owner of Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles, and he will be at training camp tomorrow.
Nice.
He says, love the show. See everyone at training camp tomorrow. Larry, I have a beautiful Sharp Corners hat ready for you for tomorrow. Lund, if you are there, I will bring you one.
Bring me one. And I'm a big collector, man.
Oh, dude,
he's
got some great hats, too. Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. That's the great Anthony Catania. Give him a call right now at 831-521-5264 or follow him on Instagram at Sharp Corners 831 on the gram. Yeah, the hats are great. I chose the navy with the white trucker background.
Ooh,
but yeah, John would love a hat, Anthony. So that would be really cool if you could bring him one. And then we have Dominic Senna, who says thoughts on Hulk Hogan's death, R.I.P. Oh, I saw that, man. I heard that on the drive down. I mean, he is, this guy's on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. This is Thunder Lips. This is Rocky III. This is the father of wrestling. I mean, these guys that are making money today can all thank Hulk Hogan for doing his thing. And then, of course, his reality show with his daughters and, all the things he's done. I mean, he was in his 70s. I don't know. I heard Murph talk about it on the radio this morning, and Murph was like, was he ill? And it's like, well, you know what? He's a gigantic person. So, I mean, sometimes people that are that big, sometimes have a harder time as they age, right? Mm-hmm. And then also, if you 71, I mean, I'm not saying that, he couldn't have lived longer, but I think that's a pretty good run. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? If you get to 71, John, will you feel like you've been cheated, or will you feel like you got a good run?
Yeah, I'd like to have a few more years in that, but I think men are in that like 74 range, something like that. I think that's our life expectancy. Women, I think, are a little bit longer than that. But I think he had a heart attack. 1, 2. I mean, I'm throwing Hulk in here, but damn, it's been rough, man. I mean, we lost Ozzy, right? Chuck Mangione.
Chuck Mangione was an incredible talent.
Hulk, Malcolm Jamal Warner. I mean, it's like boom, boom,
Drown,
boom, boom.
yeah.
I mean, we've got a few. I mean, seriously, we've got a few this week, man. It's been kind of a rough one. I mean, think about this, all right?
I was listening to a little Sweet Leaf,
There you go.
I used to play that for all my. That was one of my favorite opens on the radio.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dude, if
na 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 na. I mean, Sweet Leaf by Sabbath is just maybe one of the best riffs of all time.
I would say that if Ozzy outlives you, then yeah, you probably would feel like you might have been short a little bit, because Ozzy died at 76. And he did every drug known to mankind over and over and over. He abused his body.
Didn't he eat a bat or something like that?
He ripped a bat off. The headline of the New York, I think it was the New York Post, they do the best, was "Bats all, folks." I mean, it's unbelievable. They have the best headlines ever. But
I mean,
he was 76.
By the way, that tad insensitive.
Yeah,
a tad insensitive.
But you got to admit, he went out about as good as you could. I mean, they have that huge concert, bunch of rock legends are there. I think they raised about $190 million for autism and children's charities and all that kind of stuff. And then 2 weeks later he's gone. But my God, man, it's been a rough one, man. It's been a rough one.
It's funny. Outside of people that your mom, your dad,
right?
Anybody that you were close to in your life, because that's obviously different. But if you could bring somebody back, who would you bring back?
Oh man, what a great
if
question.
you could bring one person back, because I've got mine.
Oh man,
I was just watching his concert the other day, and I still, every time I watch this concert, I just have a hard time to believing that he's gone. And if I could, he was such a treasure that I would bring back Tom Petty.
Oh, that's a great one, man.
I'm a huge Tom Petty fan, and just watching his some of his live concerts that are on TV from Gatorville, and he's singing "Learning to Fly," and he gets the audience to sing with him. That song with the audience participation. Have you ever seen the live version of Learning to Fly where he gets the audience to sing it with him?
Yeah, I mean, it's good.
Johnny, it is epic. It is so amazing. It's like if I could bring back one artist, because it would be an artist, and it wouldn't be, I could bring back, Mother Teresa or something like that. But if I'm bringing back one artist, I think I'm bringing back Tom Petty.
Boys, there's a good one. Chris Farley, somebody said,
Chris Farley,
there's a lot of artists like that died at 27, right? Like
Sam
Jim Morrison,
Kinison or somebody.
Jimi Hendrix, those types. So there's that whole group. But then, the number one to me right out of the gate, just because it happened, I guess, a couple of years ago, recently, was Eddie Van Halen. He died at 65, right?
Yeah,
which I can't even
greatest guitar player of all time.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I would think Eddie Van Halen, who died, I can't remember what he died. It was maybe some sort of cancer, I think it was. But I mean, he was 65. I mean, that's cut short, right? I mean, that's one.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember, just from a sports sense, I was leaving to the Super Bowl and on a Sunday, and it was a Niner Super Bowl. Was it Super Bowl? What Super Bowl was it? Kobe Bryant died. It was the Niner Super Bowl.
I was with you.
It was the one in Miami.
We were on ESPN Radio.
Yeah,
talking about it together.
That's right. We did a national.
We did the whole thing. He died in the morning.
Right.
We did the show that night. Yeah,
We did that Sunday night. We did game night on that Sunday night, and then we left for the Super Bowl because I remember talking to Papa about it, and they were on the ground and they were flying to the Super Bowl in Miami.
If I could bring back an athlete
on the plane,
it would be Len Bias.
Oh, that would have been amazing. That's a
Len Bias was going to be a cross between Dominique and Jordan.
Second pick by the Celtics.
He was going to be a little bit like LeBron before LeBron. He was that special. He was unfreaking believable. And he died on the night after the '86 draft.
Unreal.
He had just been drafted to join Ainge, DJ, Bird, McHale, Parrish.
Yeah, he was going to extend that.
The Celtics were going to add another megastar, and they were going to go on an unbelievable run for the next 10, 12 years, and he OD'd on coke.
That is I forgot about that. That is just crazy.
There's a lot of guys with problems in that '86 draft.
Yeah, that's right.
William Bedford, Chris Washburn.
Oh, what a mess. Oh, Washburn. What a mess.
I mean, this is when, the mid '80s is when, cocaine use was just rampant.
Oh, that's crazy.
And
that
cost us Len Bias.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about, tragic. I mean, just tragic.
It's just like you. I remember waking up. It was like the day after the draft. Like, he's dead. It's like, what? He was just drafted. Like, what are you talking about? That was crazy.
I mean, he was spectacular.
Yeah, that was crazy.
All right. I think we have one more super.
Nice little tangent. Very good.
A little tangent. Dominic sent also R.I.P. Hawaiian singer Fiji.
All right. I don't know who that is, but I'll take your word.
I don't know. I'll take it. R.I.P. Fiji. I don't know. I can't. I
don't know who that is, but yeah.
I don't know. John, I'll give you the final word. It was a great day out at camp. What do you think?
I can't believe, just knowing you and your affinity and affection for running backs, I cannot believe you have not named him tonight. A guy that like he's only like 5'8", maybe, Jordan James. Man, when he comes through the hole, man, and the Niners are known for this, the late round running back, the Elijah Mitchells of the world and that kind of stuff, and the Matt Breidas and all that kind of stuff. Under this current regime, they always find one. And he's not going to unseat Isaac Guerrero or anything like that. But I like Jordan James, man. He comes through the hole. We'll see when the pads come on. Monday's the day. So, we're speculating on a lot of this. But I really like Jordan James out of Oregon. We shall see. I like him.
That's a good one. I kind of like Corey Kiner as well. I think the Niners have a nice little crop of runners here. Tanner Scott Lucky, come here, kitty. Says, Larry, get some sleep.
Complicated one.
Get some sleep. I know. I'm probably got bags under my eyes. Look at the dragon. And we get this one from Yoshi's World. Larry, hydrate. All right. Now I got people. Now I feel like my wife just entered the. Did you drink your water?
Hydrate.
We got this one from All Law 77. Demarcus Robinson just may save us. Our secret weapon. Yeah, I would say if there is one, I talked so much about the Niners all throughout the offseason. If there was one guy who I really didn't talk about, didn't think much about, for much of the offseason, it's him. But Demarcus Robinson is really good against man coverage. He's really good in the red zone. He had 7 touchdowns last year. I saw him today on the practice field. He's out there. He plays football. He doesn't work it. He loves to play. He's out there playing with a lot of joy. John, I said it to the people around me. I'm not sure if you heard it, if you were there, but I'll say it again. I really believe this. I'll make the prediction right now on the 24th of July. Demarcus Robinson will be the 49ers' number 1 wide receiver this year.
Really?
Number 1.
Wow. Yeah, I like him.
Over Ayuk, obviously Debo's gone.
Yeah.
But over Pearsall, over everybody else. This guy just runs routes and catches the ball. And then he scores touchdowns.
I like what I've seen.
He got 7 touchdowns on a team with Puka and Cooper Kupp. He's talented.
No, I like him. I've said it through the first couple of days. I really like what he's bringing to the table, and I wish that he didn't have that DUI thing because it's going to cost him the first couple of games. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but he looks good. I mean, like I said, I saw him in Kansas City. We've seen him with the Rams and that, and he kind of flies under the radar, but he's solid.
All right. That's going to do it. Thanks to everybody. One last one from Football Card Finder. He says, Larry, you're doing an amazing job consistently creating content, 60,000 subs. Thank you, sir. And Digital Drew says, Larry, fix your camera. The delays and stutters are bad. Get Kev to fix it. Now, Kev has centered on the issue that we've had this week tech-wise. We are in the process of fixing it. I guarantee you it will get fixed. So that's all I can tell you. I can't even tell you exactly what it is, but I can tell you that we are in the process of identifying it and fixing it. And thanks to all of you, and thanks for being patient as we get through this. All right, that's going to do it for us. Everybody hit like and subscribe right here. Hit like and subscribe on John's channel as well. I'm back in training camp tomorrow. You can catch me on KMBR at 10 a.m. with JD. JD's also gonna do some yeoman's work for me and let me get out to practice. So I will be at practice tomorrow as well. If John and I decide to, we may do bottom of the pint tomorrow night for Giants Mets. But that's going to do it for us. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks to John. Thanks to all of you. And thanks for supporting the Krug Show. Once again, hit like and subscribe on both channels. We're out.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Can't